Hey guys, coming back for Pretty Little Liars, Season 6, Episode 16, Where Somebody Waits for Me, and obviously was really looking forward to this episode. I've heard a lot of complaints about Pretty Little Liars lately, I have to say, and I want to address them because I commented on, a promo for Pretty Little Liars saying how much I'm enjoying the season, things like that, and I thought everyone else was, but a lot of people are saying that they're not really enjoying this season and that they don't like how nothing is happening. Well, let me explain to you guys, because I don't think people are fully understanding what this season really is. There's a reason I don't call A, because I don't think it's A. I think it's a stalker. This is a stalker that wants answers from them. Okay, the stalker wants answers from them. They know the stalker could be among them. It could be one of them for all they know. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities. And also, we know that the killer is out there, and obviously they're moving things slowly, but I don't think they're moving things too slowly at all. I think we're getting significant clues throughout the episode of what's going on. And while this episode wasn't necessarily about that, there were definitely some things that were really big in this episode. I still really did love this episode. This still was a really great one. There were some really great scenes in this episode. Let's just get into, because there's a lot to get into as usual. Like I said, I've really been enjoying this season. And the way this episode starts off is very interesting because I think this is the first episode that shows that Hanna and Jordan might not be as great as we think they are. I mean, it seems like these two were very good together. I think this is the first episode that shows that maybe these two aren't really meant for each other. I'm not really sure. We'll get into that. But basically, Hannah's in bed with Jordan, and they're staying at basically the cheesiest hotel you could think of. I mean, think of like a cheesy romantic movie that had like heart-shaped pillows. I mean, the entire room is shaped like hearts. And basically, they're there for Valentine's Day. And I don't know why this episode didn't air last week. I think it would have made sense if they did that. But meanwhile, back in Rosewood, Aria and Spencer are in the and I don't know if like the show, the season aired later than they thought it was going to, like a week later, things like that. But Aria and Spencer are in the basement of the Radley Hotel. As we know, of course, they just found that huge hole in the wall. They don't know where it's from. By the way, that scene between Jordan and Hannah in the beginning, I thought was very funny. I liked that that she liked the hotel. I thought it was actually pretty funny, and basically, they climb down the ladder that they found in Saras Closet, and Aria and Spencer find what looks like ancient equipment that was used for experiments on the Radley patients. And they follow a hallway that was walled off, and it leads to a secret door that goes outside, and that explains how Sarah was sneaking in and out of her hotel room without anyone ever knowing that she was leaving. Which, yeah, I mean, that's something that they need to know. Obviously, she was just leaving without anyone noticing that she was gone, and I thought it was very clever of her. Like I said, Sarah definitely had something else up her sleeve, and that hole in the wall, that's how she gets in and out without anyone else knowing. Which works for her because the fact that no one can really interview her, no one's going to come up to her, things like that. But it also would give her the chance to participate in a murder, sneak out. Why would she be sneaking in and out? What's the reason for that? We don't know. All we know is that the night of Charlotte's murder, Sarah was somehow out of the hotel. Something happened. She was, of course, injured. We know that from, what happened with her being electrocuted and everything. Again, I don't understand how her hands would be injured. That just doesn't really make as much sense to me. So again, like I said, I don't feel this injury is from what happened in the, mid-season finale. I think this is definitely something else that happened here, and definitely very interesting. So Spencer rushes home, tells Caleb all about Sarah's closet and the basement and the secret passageway, and Caleb has news of his own. Now, this was really great. I really love this. He says he tells Spencer that he found something on Yvonne's phone. Yvonne's mom's campaign was doing research on the Hastings family, and Yvonne has copies of Veronica's medical records on her phone. And Spencer says that they are old, and it turns out that Veronica had a breast care scare years ago, and she thinks this is years ago, but it's not. It's actually 8 months ago, and Veronica's been hiding it from her. So shit, I mean, that's really crazy. I never really thought something like that would come up, but again, I think they're doing a really good job of just showing how out of place they really are. I mean, they've now come back. There are a lot of things they don't know, and I like the way this was done. I definitely like seeing that, and also I forgot to say that this does prove that Emily's hallucination about Sarah being in the hospital, that really did happen. That wasn't just a hallucination. That actually did happen, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but I like seeing them, I like seeing them get into this. Definitely, we really get into Veronica's cancer, and I thought this was definitely very interesting. So, Detective Tanner is back in this episode. Out of nowhere, she's back, and I think it makes sense. Definitely, this murder is getting a lot more serious, so it makes sense to bring her back. Detective Holbrook, I guess he's just not there anymore, but she's there, not Lorenzo. I found that a bit strange. I mean, Detective Tanner, that is kind of retaining elements from the other seasons, but obviously she's still out there. She didn't quit her job or anything. I would have wanted a bit more development with Detective Tanner. Detective Tanner's never really been a character that exactly works for me just because I feel like she's just a detective. There's really not much else to her character. She's a detective. She's very good at what she does. She doesn't fall for bullshit, and she wants to get answers. That's really been her character for me, and I really wanted a little bit more. I kind of wanted just Detective Tanner being like, oh, it's been a couple years, here's what's happened, things like that, and we really didn't get that. We do see, though, Detective Tanner is meeting with Ali and Rollins. As we know, her and Rollins, definitely something is going on there about Charlotte's murder. She says that they were working on a murder weapon and are certain that she was attacked and hit in the back of the head before she was ever pushed off the roof, so basically they think that when she was pushed off the roof, she was dead, and she was definitely knocked out before. And Tanner asks Allie if she has ever heard of a restaurant called the Two Crows. Someone called the De Laurentiis house from the Two Crows restaurant, and someone answered the phone and talked to them for 3 minutes. It wasn't Allie, and it wasn't Rollins, which means that it had to be Charlotte. So definitely they're starting to get clues of what's going on here, and again, this really makes me think that Allie is this stalker. She is determined for answers. It's clear that she wants answers, and Rollins wants her to get these answers as well. I mean, it's clear to me that Allie is definitely the stalker. I'm gonna say it right now. I mean, it makes sense. She wants answers. She's gonna do some crazy things because she wants answers, and she really does not trust the girls right now. I think she's starting to get their trust back, but again, I don't know if Allie's capable of everything that's going on, but I definitely feel that some of the texts they're getting could very well be from her. I could definitely see that. So Emily meets up with Spencer and Aria. Emily's freaking out about the note she got threatening her eggs if she doesn't give up the killer. As we know, she did get that. And Emily still swears that Sarah was at the fertility clinic. Like I said, she knows she's there. And she's going back today to check and make sure that everything is okay with her eggs, and Aria offers to tag along because she wants to help her, but I like that Emily wanted to do this by herself because this was her choice to do this. I mean, it makes sense that she goes by herself. She doesn't need Aria to go with her. She's doing this by herself. I like seeing that. And we then see that Aria runs into Liam at the brew, and he tells her that they need to talk about Ezra and his book. And I love the scene where Emily and him just like casually met for like the first time, because obviously this is not the first time they met. They met over, of course, on, FaceTime when he was shirtless, and a very fun scene there. I really like the way they did that, and that's something I like about this season especially, is that they seem to be still having some humor and heart in there. They're not just focusing on the case because there are other things going on in their lives, and I like seeing that. So Emily arrives at medical clinic and notices that there's a sign in the door saying that they're closed, and a nurse comes to the door, tells Emily that they had an accident last night and their equipment malfunction. They lost all of the eggs that they donated, plus a bunch of other people's eggs, and basically her eggs are gone. They gave them to someone, and obviously she's really upset because she has no idea where they are, and that's obviously a huge problem. The fact that she doesn't know where these eggs are, they could be really anywhere. And the nurse excuses herself to make some more calls and breaks the news to their patients, and it's really crazy. I mean, this was something that Emily really wanted to do, and it somehow got fucked up. And I don't really think this is the stalker's fault, and I don't think it's the killer's fault either. I think this is simply just that they had to take some eggs, but there had to be someone that took them. Who took her eggs? Obviously, she wants to know, and very interesting stuff. So Hannah then wakes up at the hotel, has dozens of messages from the other liars on her phone, all about what's going on and things like that, and she gets out of bed. Jordan says, and of course she can't find Jordan at first. She has no idea where Jordan is. He's not by her, and basically she told Jordan that they had to go back to Rosewood as soon as possible. Luckily, he is there. He tells her that basically they left a breakfast tray for them outside the door, and she says she isn't hungry and they need to get to Rosewood ASAP. She opens the note and it says, "Honeymoon is over, poor Jordy," and that's really creepy. And I can understand why Hannah doesn't want to tell Jordan about the stalker, because there's just a lot to deal with and everything. But this is the first sign to me that this relationship is not really working. A relationship is built on trust, and if she doesn't trust Jordan enough to not tell him about, everything that's been going on for the past, like, 5 years, that's really a problem because it's clear to me that he does not know about any of this. He thinks that she's a normal girl. He doesn't really think, and I understand she didn't have a reason to tell him. Now she needs to, though, because she's going to make all these excuses for leaving and things like that, and it's really going to, he's going to think, why are you making all these tedious excuses? He's going to get the wrong idea, and things I don't think are going to end well between Jordan and Hannah. I definitely fear the worst for these two, I have to say. Especially in another scene, which I will get into. Emily and Spencer then pay Ali a visit, and they decide to come clean and tell her about the new A and the text they have received. And I like that they told her, because this is something that she needs to know. I mean, they could be coming after her for all we know, but it could be her, and I don't think they really think that. I think that, they don't really think she could do that, but again, I really feel the stalker could be Ali. Now, do I think that Ali's capable of murdering Jordan? Again, she is very regretful of what happened. She is definitely grief-stricken, and she might do some irrational things, but would she really murder Jordan? I don't really know if she'd do that. But I'm saying it now, guys. Jordan's dying. Jordan is not living, okay? Whatever happens, Jordan's a goner. After that text, Jordan is definitely a goner. And I don't know in what capacity, but Jordan's a goner. I would not be surprised if he's gone after this season because he, like I said, he's a goner. And he's obviously dying before the show ends. Again, we know the show is ending next season. He's dying, definitely. So Ali says that whoever is texting him, that doesn't have their facts straight because Tanner says that the murder weapon wasn't a golf club. It was actually a hollow piece of metal. And that's very interesting. Now we know it's not a golf club, and it makes more sense because a golf club, the injury does not seem like it was taken from a golf club. It was definitely a hollow piece of metal, and it doesn't seem like a huge thing at first, but it becomes a lot more important a little bit later, which I will definitely get into. So Hanna and Jordan get back to Rosewood. Emily feels Hanna in on her eggs being stolen. Hanna doesn't understand why they're being tormented again, and Emily explains that the stalker wants to know who killed Charlotte, and they are the 4 people who wanted Charlotte dead the most, and I like that Emily gave a genuine reason for why they could be after them, because it's true. If you remember, they wanted Charlotte dead. They didn't want to release from jail. They wanted her just gone from their lives, and again, it made sense at the time, but it makes sense why this person would be after them, and if Ali's doing it, it makes sense because as I said in the, mid-season premiere, they seemed to have no sympathy for her whatsoever. They didn't seem to care that she was back. They didn't seem to feel bad for Ali. They didn't really care. They just wanted Charlotte gone. I understand why they wanted her gone, obviously, but this was someone that Ali really cared about. No one really seemed to take her side at all, and it would make sense why Ali would do this. And again, I'm not saying that Ali is definitely the person that is texting them. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I think Ali could be capable of doing some of these things, definitely, and I think it would make sense if it is revealed to be Ali, definitely. So, Spencer then pays Mona a visit. She asks her why she had Yvonne accidentally leave her phone at the restaurant, and Spencer knows that Mona wanted her to find the phone because, again, she just randomly left it there. And like I said last week, Mona was acting very shady, and it definitely does change in this episode a little bit, but I still think that Mona's a bit fake. I really do. Mona warns her that Yvonne's mom's campaign is going to leak Veronica's medical records, and Mona apologized to Spencer. She had no idea that Spencer didn't know her own mom was sick, and I mean, bullshit, really. I really do think this is bullshit. I don't really believe what Mona's saying. Just, all of this just seems really shady. It really does, and it doesn't seem like it's true. And again, this is Mona. Mona doesn't do things for other people. She does things for herself. That's how she's always been, and I can't see Mona not doing something for herself that doesn't make her look like a good person. I mean, I really feel like that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to make herself look innocent so nobody suspects her. And Caleb is very skeptical that Mona was being genuine, and he rejects Spencer's plea to illegally delete the file from the opposition server, and I like that Caleb told her, look, I don't believe what Mona's saying, because, yeah, it doesn't seem very shady. It doesn't seem very legit what she's saying. It sounds very, very shady, and it really seems like there's something else going on there, and he obviously is determined to know what's happening. So I like that Caleb told her straight out, look, you can't trust her. No matter what you do, you can't trust her, and there's nothing you can really do about that, and I like seeing that. I thought that was a really great scene. So Liam wants to read the next chapter of Ezra's book, obviously, because they need it, and Aria hands over the page and paces while he reads it, and you know that, of course, Ezra didn't finish the book. Aria's been writing it for him, and I understand that Aria wants him to get genuine credit, but you can't just have her write it. And I really feel that if she continues to write it, this could end up being a collaboration. I really could see these two collabing, maybe get closer, things like that. And Liam is on to Aria. He can tell that she has been writing the book and not Ezra. He knows that it is definitely not her and that Ezra, and he demands to know where he is and why Aria's writing the book for him. And Liam agrees to keep Aria's secret from their boss, but he tells her that Ezra better return and pick up the writing fast because he wants it. He wants Ezra's genuine book. He doesn't just want Aria's, and I like they told her it was good and that she should continue what she's doing, but obviously, she can't write someone else's book. That's illegal, and she obviously can't do that, so basically, we then see that whole scene, like I said, with Caleb, where he refuses that would be breaking too many laws, and he's not trying to go to jail. He tells Spencer that her mom needs to get ahead of it and release the story herself. While Spencer and Caleb are talking, he gets a text message from Hanna and hides it from Spencer, and she wants Caleb to meet her for a drink. Now, let's talk about this scene. A lot of people have been talking about Hanna and Caleb. Is Hanna really okay with Hanna and Caleb? I don't, with Spencer and Caleb. I don't think that's what this is about. I think that Hanna and Caleb have a lot of unresolved feelings between each other, and Hanna doesn't want to make it awkward. It's just Caleb, something weird is going on with him. I don't know if he still isn't over her, but Caleb meets up with Hanna, gives her a pep talk. He reassures her that she is strong enough to take on the new A. She survived it before. It's a really nice scene. The difference is that before, when she was with Jordan, he was straight up yelling at her. I mean, he clearly wanted to help her. It's clear that he really did want to help her here, but Jordan straight up yelled at her, and he was able to, he didn't even really help her. He said that this is your fault, that you're making all these excuses, and I understand Jordan's points. It's just the way this is headed, I really don't think this is gonna go that well, I have to say. I don't really think this is gonna go well. We then see a flashback that shows Hanna and Caleb outside a club years ago with him clearly uncomfortable with her New York lifestyle and the relationship strained. It's a really nice scene. It shows, what happened there, when the relation began to unravel, because we don't know why these two broke up. Caleb was miserable and buried with work, and he hated being dragged to all of Hannah's fancy work parties with uppity designers, and it makes sense because Caleb is not rich, and he isn't into this rich lifestyle that Hannah's into. And when Caleb's leaving the hotel, he bumps into Mona in the elevator. He threatens her and tells her that she is screwing with Spencer. He will tear her apart, and something I didn't, really think about because I guess I just forgot. Mona says, who kissed the best, me, Hanna, or Spencer? And I'm like, Mona and Caleb kissed? And I'm like, oh yeah, the season 2 finale. They don't really talk about that anymore. So I'm glad they brought that up because I didn't remember that happened. And I asked on YouTube, is there something going on there? And someone reminded me that was in fact the season 2 finale. Whoever that was, many people have, remind me of that. So thank you guys for saying that because I completely forgot. If you guys know, I wasn't into Pretty Little Liars really to the 4th season. That's really when I got into the show. The first 2 seasons I think are really great. I definitely will say that. There are some really great things. Season 3, I'm not fond of. I really don't like Season 3. And then Season 4, you guys know that's when I really did start to get into the show. Season 5, though, I still think is the best season, I have to say. So basically, I like that Caleb's outright threatening her. He doesn't trust her whatsoever, and I think it's very smart of him to do such a thing. I like seeing that. So basically, like we know, he does not think that Mona's being genuine at all, and I like seeing that. I thought that was definitely very well done. So Detective Tanner corners Emily, thanks her for staying in Rosewood to help her with their investigation. Emily gets very snarky, and Tanner tells her that she isn't enjoying being there any more than she is. Emily just wants this to go away. I mean, she thought that she was done with Detective Tanner, and now it feels like she's back in high school, and she does not want that. And the sooner everyone cooperates and they solve the murder, everyone can go home. And again, something about Tanner, I'm just not feeling it, I gotta say. And I've never, like I said, really been into Detective Tanner. That's why I always liked Detective Holbrook, because I just think he was a lot more interesting. He was a very layered character. He had a whole thing going on with Hannah at one point. I like his character more. Lorenzo as well, he has a genuine character. Tanner's just kind of plain. She is a detective that is going after a murder. Wow, I care so much. So I'm just saying that her character in general, I just don't care as much about it. It just seems like, oh, we're back here. It does make sense, though, obviously. They can't get away from this. Definitely makes sense why we're seeing her again, because they can't get away from this lifestyle. Even though they want to move on, they can't, and I think Emily's really realizing that they're really trapped, and It's a really nice scene. I really like seeing that. And then we get this great scene here with Ali and Spencer. They finally have that heart to heart that I've been waiting for. Like I said, I really feel like this bond, it hasn't felt genuine. It's felt like these two weren't stepsisters. As we know, Ali and Spencer are in fact stepsisters, and they haven't really done much with it. But here I really think they started to. And Ali reveals that she's been involved with Charlotte's Dr. Rollins, which we find out that Rollins was in fact Charlotte's doctor. And it's not just, they are simply not just friends. There's a lot more going on there. And she's tired of keeping it a secret since it is so unethical. And after talking with Spencer, basically Spencer tells her that she shouldn't be afraid to hide it, that she should tell Rollins how she feels. And we get this really great scene where Ali heads home, tells Rollins that she's tired of hiding the relationship and being a secret. She wants him to go public and go on dates together. And it seems like these two are actually going to date. And I like seeing that. I like seeing Ali ready to move forward, right? Not looking backward, looking ahead. I like seeing that. I think it's a great direction for a character to go in. And I like seeing her, confident. I like seeing her confident. I like seeing her, wanting to make a change, and it's something I think they're definitely handling very, very well. So I'm glad to see that these two will go on a date. I'm pretty sure they're going to get married because, like I said, she does eventually turn into Miss Rollins, as we saw in the flash forward. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to get married at some point. I just don't know when. So Hannah and Aria head back to the hotel and into the secret hallway. They think that Emily's eggs might be hidden down there. They hear someone down in the basement and chase them down. Emily grabs a girl, but it's just Emily. Apparently, she's looking for her eggs, too. They give up their search and head back upstairs and have a drink, and Emily comes to terms with the fact that her eggs are gone, and she's not getting them back, and she obviously feels cheated. I mean, this is something that she genuinely wanted to do. She wanted to donate her eggs so some family could have them. She wanted to do something good, and now it's completely failed, and she can't really do anything about it. It really sucks. I really did feel bad for Emily here. And you guys know I'm not the hugest fan of Emily. I'm really not. In fact, she's probably my least favorite liar. If I had to pick a least favorite, it would definitely be Emily. But I really have been loving the way they're writing her character. Just her wanting to do something good for the hell of it, there's nothing wrong with that. And the fact that Emily is getting screwed over because of it, I really do feel bad for her, and I really hope that this does turn around in the end. And I'm sure that she's not going to get her eggs back, obviously, but I hope that she at least finds out who took her eggs and who, what family has them. So Aria's working late night at Ezra's apartment. He shows up, and Aria jumps up and tries to apologize for him for accusing him of killing Charlotte, and Ezra's completely different here. He's not even acting like he was before. He's acting like how he is, and he reveals that he ran to her parents, and they asked him not to tell her that they were getting back together. Ezra understands why she jumped to the conclusion. He apologized for Aria for freaking out on her and leaving town without notice. It gets better that Ezra wrote the chapters. He owned the publisher while he was away. He has no idea that Aria already sent in chapters pretending to be him, and this is not going to end well. I mean, something I like is that, one, he's no longer acting shady. He's now acting like he is, and I don't know if that's necessarily saying that we can trust him. I don't think that's saying that Ezra is someone that we can completely rule out and say, oh, he's definitely not A. I don't think that's something that we can completely rule out. But this is definitely going to get crazy. Knowing that Aria is doing this, how is he going to react to this? We'll have to see what happens there, because especially since he did work back on the book and she has the stuff to give to Liam, she just sent in fake chapters. And this is not going to end well for anyone. We'll have to see what happens there, because this is definitely going to be very interesting. Now, I do like seeing Aria go in a writing direction. I want to see her write something, and like I said, I really do feel it's going to end up being a collab thing, where I think she's going to tell him what's going on, and we'll have to see what happens there. But I like that he genuinely apologized for what he did, and that he was a dick, and that he was acting very shady. It was a very good scene, but again, I can't completely rule out Ezra, just because you can never really rule out anyone in this show. You just can't. I mean, I can rule out a few people. I'll say, like, Byron, I'm pretty sure I can rule out. We know, again, though, that Ezra and Byron are definitely working together. We just don't know in what way. So that's why I can't fully rule out Ezra, and as much as I want to, I just can't, because of that scene between him and Byron. I can't rule it out. So at Spencer's house, she's picking up, goes to move Melissa's suitcase, but the handle is broken, and she whispers to Kate that the handle is missing lawn and hollow and rectangle at the end. And of course, as we know, the piece that's, was used to kill Charlotte was a lawn, hollow metal piece, just like the murder weapon that Tanner described, and that's basically how the episode ends. So Melissa was definitely involved in some way. I don't know what way, but she was definitely involved in this. I don't really know what's going on there. But it makes sense because as we know, Melissa was responsible for a lot of the things that happened. When Ali faked her death and things like that, a lot of things she was responsible for. And I like seeing this because it's definitely going to be very interesting to see if Spencer can trust Melissa, what's going on there. Why is this handle gone? I mean, is it just simply the handle's broken? I mean, it has to make sense. It really does connect. And is Spencer simply overthinking? I mean, there is a possibility she could be. So what's going on here? That definitely really does interest me. We'll have to see what's going on there. Let's talk about Ezra and Aria because, like I said, I really do think this is going to get very intense. I like seeing these two work together. I want to see these two collab, but if Ari's going to continue to send in these fake chapters, he's going to find out, and it's not going to end well for either of them, and I can't completely rule him out. I gotta say, I just can't completely do that, and especially when Ari reads his book, I definitely feel that's going to be a true testament on if he really is, this shady guy or not, because like I said, I think he definitely is acting very shady. Emily. Is Emily gonna find out who took her eggs? Does it have anything to do with the stalker? I don't think it does. I think her eggs were just taken and she can't really do anything about it, and obviously she feels really guilty because she wanted to do this, and knowing that they're gone, she really feels bad about it, and I really do feel bad for her, so we'll have to see what happens with that. As far as the whole thing, by the way, I really did like the scene between Spencer and Veronica. I forgot to say, there's a really great scene between Veronica and Spencer where she's asked her if there's anything she can do, and Veronica says that she's done everything she could. Just a really nice scene. Ali and Rollins, like I said, I think these two are going to get married. I really think they are because we know that she becomes Miss Rollins, so I like seeing these two. I know some people say they don't have the greatest chemistry, but I don't care. I like seeing Ali happy, and I like seeing her with someone. It's just nice to see that someone really does care about her, and I hope this goes well for her. But is Ali the stalker? There's a part of me that feels like she is, but then there's a part of me that feels like she doesn't because she's not capable of doing all the things that she could be doing. I'll say this. If the stalker doesn't, threaten Spencer or do something bad to Spencer, then it definitely could be Allie because Spencer's the only one that's given her genuine compassion and made her feel like, she is upset about Charlotte's death. Even though Spencer might not be, she did say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear about Charlotte," things like that. It was just a nice scene. I really like seeing that. Mona again acting very shady. I like seeing Caleb not trusting her. What is going on there? There definitely is something going on with Mona. And then as far as the whole thing with Jordan and Hannah go, I don't think these two are really going to make it. I mean, if Hannah does not confess to him what's going on, one, she doesn't love him. Two, they're not going to make it. It's that simple. It's not going to work out between those two. We'll have to see what happens there. But overall, guys, I you guys saw this episode. Another great episode as usual. I really think they've been on a streak lately. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for either a movie review or for the series premiere of the Netflix series Love, because I am going to check that out, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.